What's up with y'all? What's good? All right, so we're going to get right into it. So I have like this structured way of how I'm going to present this. So if you are looking at this, hopefully this is definitely going to help you. If you are a male and you're dating, this is definitely I think it's definitely going to help you. Definitely. Also, this can apply to women too, not just men. Even though I have the title talking about this is for men to date in a mature way, this could also be for women too. So this can apply to men and women. Doesn't matter. So before we get started, I just want to acknowledge a person that has definitely helped me with doing certain processes as far as helping me understand my emotions. And so this what we're going to call is the 5 levels of emotional expression. This is a process that I learned from a YouTuber. Her name is Teal Swan, right? And so the truth is, I got this process from her. Now, there's many ways you can process your emotions, but I just found that this process was really helpful, was really useful for me, and I kind of like mastered it. And so I'm just here today presenting this emotional processing because I think it's useful, I think it's helpful, and I also think that it can definitely help you. It could be a tool that you can use to express your emotions. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to teach you about this way of expressing your emotions, right? And then we're going to use the information we get from that to understand how we can use this to understand ourselves and also understand uh, how to understand ourselves in a way to understand what we want in relationships and what we want in a partner. Okay? So that's how we're going to use this, right? So first, I'm going to be explaining each level. And as I explain each level, it's pretty much me helping you to understand the different levels. And then I'm going to give you a real live example of how I used it in one of my own personal, you can say, sessions with myself in ways that I was processing, because I was processing something that I was going through in my relationship or whatever it is. All right, so hopefully this could be useful, this could be helpful. I'm starting right now. All right, so most men think dating gets better when they change their strategy. Now, most of y'all got some crazy ways of dating. A lot, a lot on the internet is not really good advice, right? But but dating only gets better when you understand yourself. What I'm here to let you know, and based upon my experience, right? And when I look into the future, as I begin to date more, right? Like I have a lot more confidence in myself. I have a lot more confidence in me actually choosing the woman that's really for me, right? And so dating will get better once you when you start to understand yourself. That's okay. So today I'm going to show you how to use your emotions, right? I want you to use your anger, your sadness, your fear, your regret, and love to build dating clarity, confidence, and real self-awareness. So as we use these forms of emotional expression, we're going to be expressing our emotions in different layers. And within these layers, they're going to tell you about yourself, just like they told me about myself. And so I'm going to kind of like hold your hand and let you go through these levels of emotional expression and teach you how to ask these questions for yourself. And then I'm gonna give you a real example on a situation that I use this process for myself, and some of the answers that came out of it for me. And then we're gonna use all this information to use it for ourselves and how we date and how we choose relationships for ourselves, really. Okay? So after today, you'll never date from your wounds again. I can guarantee, bro, once you start doing the work, once you start doing the actual work that is needed for you to understand yourself, after you start doing the actual work that is needed to understand yourself, it's going to be hard for you to date from this wounded place. And what I've learned in my self-awareness journey and doing all this real inner work, what happens is you begin to, like, in your body, you begin to really understand and feel the difference between what you really want and what you see and what you don't want, right? And so you're able to really feel it in your body. If I pick this person, if I pick this person, then you're going to be abandoning yourself in what you actually need and what you actually want in a partner. Okay? So this is what this live is about. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 levels of emotional expression, and each level reveals something about your relational identity, your boundaries, your needs, your fears, your emotional maturity, and your actual purpose. Okay? And so when you understand these layers, dating gets clearer than it's ever been. Why? Because this process will show you exactly what kind of woman you need, what kind of relationship you thrive in, and what your actual values are. Okay? So when I take you through this process, right, it's going to show you, based upon these levels of emotional expression, based upon circumstances that have triggered me, I will go into this process of processing my emotions. And from that, I have all this information. All right, I have all this information about myself. And I'm going to use this information to help me to date better. Okay? All right, so the 5-level method, right? Now, you can use this method with any situation that triggers you, right? You can take one situation and express it through all 5 emotional layers, not to fix yourself. You're not trying to fix yourself. You're not trying to fix yourself. You're trying to understand yourself through going through these levels of emotional expression. All right. So let's just start with this, right? So let's say you're going through something really traumatic, right? And you want to understand what you feel, right? Here's the 5 levels you want to understand what you are feeling by whatever is triggering you from the situation you're in. All right. So for me, right, when I was expressing my emotions, right? What happened, right? So pretty much earlier last year, well, I'm sorry, like towards the beginning of this year, I used this I used this 5 levels to express my emotions, to understand what was really going on, because I had a lot of pain surrounding what was going on with the court system, right? With my children, right? And I was trying to understand, you're like, bro, I was just so hurt. Like, why would my ex-wife do this? Like, why would she take me to court, right? Why would she lie on me? Why would she do all these things that she's doing intentionally, right? And so what I had to do was learn how to express myself, right? Learn how to express myself, right? And so this is the system that I used, right? Now, let's go through this, all right? So level 1, you're going to express your anger. You're going to express blame. You're going to express resentment. Pretty much this first level of expressing your emotions, right? It's pretty much you just expressing what really pissed you off, right? Now, I remember, right? So this is where you express the raw frustration, the disrespect, the boundary violation. You say exactly what made you angry and why. And so this first level, when you expressing your emotions, this level reveals your boundaries and relationship standards. So for the sake of this video, I'm telling you how, I want you to do it, right? Now, this how it, so in this first level, whatever you went through, oh damn, you grown for real, sir. You are worth listening to. Oh, hopefully, hopefully. So pretty much, this first level of expressing your emotions, right? You kind of want to do this right after you angry, right? Now, to keep it real with you, a lot of these took me, for each level, it took me like a long time to actually go through them. But eventually, like within like a whole like 2 days, I will go through all these levels. But this first level, right? You really angry in the moment, right? And so you express your anger. You start, and a lot of times in your body in that moment, you really angry, right? So this first level is for you to like let that anger out. So for me, if I'm really angry, I'm punching stuff. Now I used to box, right? So I'm punching stuff, right? So I'm letting that first layer of expression out through my body. So I'm angry. And so a lot of times, if I want to squeeze something, I squeeze something, right? I get it all out, right? Now, this is what happened with me in this level, right? So in this level, right, dealing with, my ex-wife, dealing with going back and forth to the court, right? Going back and forth. Yes, it does help. Going back and forth. You got to listen to what I'm saying. Once you listen to what I'm saying, then, I've been talking since what, 2:15. So you may have to go back after this and listen to the whole thing. So level 1, right? So for me, in my situation, that actually triggered me, right? What happened? So what crossed my boundaries, right? What felt unfair or disrespectful? So level 1. So I was angry. I felt misrepresented. I felt my role as a father was dishonored. My attempts to create peace was ignored. This is facts, right? I felt like someone else had control over my relationship with my children and reputation and narrative, right? Anger always, and so in this first level, right, I expressed that they was misrepresenting me, right? How many of y'all been to court, right? And if your baby mom or your ex-wife, she lying on you, right? Don't you feel misrepresented? You feel misrepresented, right? Right? You feel like the court system is pretty much trying to take control over you and your relationship with your kids, right? And so when you are expressing your emotions, right, and you doing it through this process, this is what you're first expressing. And so again, I felt misrepresented. I felt like my role as a father was dishonored. My attempt to create peace was ignored. I even was trying to create peace with my ex-wife. I was trying to, but she didn't give a fuck about that. She went straight to the court, right? And so during this process, I'm really expressing all these emotions, right? I feel misrepresented, dishonored as a father. My attempts to create peace with her, she didn't give a fuck about that, right? It was ignored by her. My reputation as a father was no one gave a fuck about that. The courts just wanted to punish me, right? And so anger in this first level always points to a place where your truth was violated and where your values were stepped on. All right. So remember, when you are expressing your emotions, right, you're going to express your anger first, right? And this is where you express the raw frustration, the disrespect, the boundary violation. Right? You say exactly what made you angry. All right. So that's the first one. So level 2. So let's say, all right, you express your anger. You was blaming her, right? You were really honest. You were more raw in this first level, right? In practice, when I did this, by the time I expressed the first level, I was more calm, right? I was literally more calm because I got that first, I was so angry, like, man, like I was so mad, angry, right? I was able to get to a different level now of how I was feeling. Okay, now, which is the second level. This is where you express sadness, disappointment, hurt, right? And you really express what broke your heart underneath the anger. So now, after this, the level of you expressing anger, right? Now you're more calm now, right? Now you can really express this sadness, disappointment, and hurt, right? What really broke your heart, right? Underneath the anger. So whatever you're going through, you express your anger, you blamed, all that, right? Second level is sadness, disappointment, what really broke your heart, right? Now, once you speak your anger, you drop into sadness. This is the honesty your anger was protecting. This level reveals your emotional needs and relationship. So this level, right? This will reveal your emotional needs and relationship. Now, at the time when I was processing my emotions in in these 5 levels, I was just using it to gain more understanding of myself, right? And more understanding of why I was feeling the way I was feeling. But in this live, again, we're using this in a way to understand ourselves, right? And understand the kind of relationships that we want for ourselves, right? So so pretty much level 2 is, here's the prompt for you. What part of you feel unseen, unappreciated, or unprotected? That's the prompt. All right. So level 2. So when you express level 2, here's the prompt for you, right? What part of you feel unseen, unappreciated, or unprotected? So in my situation, right, this is what came up for me. So when I was expressing sadness, disappointment, and hurt, I felt like I was losing connection with my kids. That's what I really felt inside, right? I felt like I was not being, I wasn't being, I was being unseen despite my efforts. Yo, I was doing a lot, right? I was doing a lot. Really, if I'm really thinking about it, I was doing so much, but they still didn't see me. They didn't see like I was a good-hearted father, right? That really loved his children, and I really didn't want any beef with my ex-wife. I wanted us to really co-parent together, right? I was being misunderstood, right? Right? And so the teaching point for you men is sadness tells you what you're afraid of losing and what you deeply value. See, when you are sad, right, and you're expressing your sadness, this definitely tells you what you're afraid of losing, right? And what you deeply value. Yep, they didn't see me, bro. Someone said they don't see you as a human. They don't see you as a human, just a dad. They don't see me. They didn't even see that. You know, we was in the courtroom and all that. Everything. This is mainly about my ex-wife, right? This is about my ex-wife and how she initiated all these things in the courtroom. And a lot of this it's a coupling of her actions and my reactions, right? And what the courtroom did. And this is me just processing it in this process, okay? And so during this process, after I sit back and I'm processing how I was feeling so sad, right? I'm feeling like, damn, right? I'm losing connection with my kids. Despite everything I'm doing, they don't see me. I'm being misunderstood, right? And so when you guys are expressing your, again, when you are expressing your anger, your sadness. Sadness tells you what you're afraid of losing and what you deeply value. Okay? So now, again, the situation triggered me. I went home. I processed it. First level, I processed that. I processed my anger, blame, this anger and blame. That's usually when you first upset, you just upset when you first start the process. Now, I express level 2, sadness, disappointment, and hurt. All right. So now, after you express level 2, which is your sadness, you go a little bit deeper. You go deep. Now, this is the more vulnerable parts of yourself, right? So level 3, you express your fear, insecurity, and more deeper childhood wounds, right? This is where you express what you're afraid will happen, right? This level reveals your vulnerability. It shows your wounds, your childhood shame, your fears of repeating the past, right? This level reveals your attachment patterns and partner selection instincts, right? So here's a prompt for you. Don't you dare read the Bible. So here's a prompt for you. So in this level, so you already done expressed level 1, anger, blame. Level 2 is you're expressing your sadness, which is a different level from anger. Now you're going to express your insecurities, your more deeper childhood, you can say wounds that started in childhood, right? And so for me, from this situation, so for me, in this situation, I'm at level 3. So now I'm going to express my fear and insecurity, and this is how it was for me. So for me, So this wasn't just about my kids. It was also about the part of me that felt abandoned emotionally growing up, right? So for me, this pretty much opened up the wound of me feeling not heard, not seen, not understood, right? And it opened up me realizing this came from my childhood. It's more deeper than just what's happening, right? With my ex-wife and her, all those feelings though made you who you are and where you are at. And so it wasn't just, it's not just, the anger that I felt, right? It wasn't just the sadness. The deeper level is that the deeper fear and insecurity is that this mirror situation, for me, it's mirroring my childhood wounds with my mother of feeling emotionally distant, emotionally unsafe. Okay? And so when I was expressing these emotions on this level 3, this is what was coming up, right? And so it showed, right? It also revealed my deepest responsibility. So it showed I see fatherhood as emotional leadership, right? Right. And so for me, I noticed that, of course, when I first had my children, I was not as emotionally intelligent as I am now, right? Or even at the time. But I remember before we actually broke up, I was already in the midst of teaching my children how to grow emotionally. But unfortunately, because of what happened, right, that caused me and my ex-wife to split, that prevented me from actually continuing to build that relationship with my children and help them to understand themselves. And so there was a fear in me that, damn, bro, like I won't be able to, and I haven't seen my children and interacted with them since like May, right? And so in me, that triggered this like, damn, bro, my kids won't be able to get what I got. What I'm experiencing is more emotional intelligence, understanding my emotions. And so when I was doing this process of expressing my emotions, this came up as like, damn, bro, my deepest desire and responsibility as a father is to really, teach my children how to feel, see, understand themselves, right? And begin to really connect with themselves and connect with others and be able to express themselves. But here's the thing. At this point, when I'm expressing this is what I'm really feeling. I'm like, damn, bro. And so there is a fear of the lack of protection, right? There's a fear of lack of protecting my children through helping them with these tools that I'm helping you guys with. I haven't seen my kids in a minute. And so this is part of the fear, right? But I also understood that during this, process is that this was a mirror. What was going on with me and my ex-wife is a mirror of what I actually experienced in childhood, right? Okay. And so for me, it just really showed me that, yo, I really value, fatherhood for me means emotional leadership, leading my children emotionally. What's up, brother? Now I'm afraid they won't get that, right? They won't get that now. So now I'm separated from my children, right? I'm separated from my children. And now there's this fear like, damn, my kids won't get what I have right now because I'm not there to teach it to them because we're apart right now because of the circumstance. So now I express the anger. I express blame, right? I express how I felt disrespected. I expressed my sadness and what I felt like I lost. And now I expressed the level 3, right? I expressed the level 3. And I gave you guys the prompt for level 3. So when you are expressing your emotions, Here's the prompt for you. What are you afraid this situation means about your future and yourself? Okay? So again, all right? So I express during this process of expressing my emotions, right? I express level 3. Now, here's where, okay, I express my anger, my sadness, disappointment, and I express now level 3 is where, again, I express my fear, insecurity, and more deeper wounds. So now I'm aware of all these things now at this point, right? Someone asked me, I'm asking, is you have to read your note? Do I have to read? Yes. For me, I'm trying to get off your notes and talk to me. All right. So now we at level 4. Then this is where I'm expressing. This is a different level of expression now, right? Now this is where it kind of changes, right? Right. So level 4, right? I'm going to express understanding, empathy, and regret, right? Now, this is where I'm going to express the deeper insight, right? All right? I'm going to express the deeper insight in everything that I've learned, okay? So based upon the other levels of spiral dynamics, so do you mean like the levels of consciousness? No, this is really specifically about men expressing their emotions through this 5 level process of expressing your emotions, and then we're going to use this to actually use it for dating, to understand ourselves and to know the kind of women and relationships we want. All right, so level 4. So now I'm expressing level 4. This is where, again, I'm saying I'm expressing understanding, empathy, regret, and this is more deeper insight into what actually has happened, right? With me, with my ex-wife, right? So this is where, right? Here, level 4 is where you see both sides, right? Without blame, without shame. So now you should be at a place where you're trying to gain more understanding. You're trying to gain more understanding about yourself, about the other person, and the whole situation. You're trying to have a more higher perspective. You want to zoom out now. Kind of want to zoom out and see everything clear, right? And so this level is going to reveal your relational maturity and accountability. So this level of expression of expressing your emotions is more so about maturity, seeing your perspective, seeing and possibly seeing her perspective, right? And having empathy for her, for maybe how she may be feeling, right? But it does not excuse what she's doing and how you feel about what she's doing, right? The right or wrong of what she's doing, right? But it's giving you more perspective, right? And so again, this level reveals your relational maturity and accountability. So level 4, right? Here's a prompt for you when you're going through this process for level 4, right? What do you understand now about yourself and about the other person? Okay? So what do you understand about yourself now? You done express. So again, I gave you this process, right? From level 1, 2, 3. Now, level 4 is about understanding. What do you understand about yourself and the other person, right? All right. Now, here's what I understood about myself, right? So when I expressed my emotions, And now I can see clearly. I can see, okay, I can see my disappointment. I can see my anger, my disappointment. I can see my insecurity. I can see where this comes from. So now I'm in a more healthier vibration to see clearly, to really not take this personal as much, right? Okay? So for me, what did me expressing this level reveal about myself? So now, number one, understanding revealed my own accountability and like my own personal accountability and not attacking anybody else, right? Okay. And so what I saw where I avoided emotionally, right? Where I wasn't really fully present, right? So I can see that there were a lot of ways that I was emotionally where I was avoided, right? And where I wasn't fully present with myself, right? So I can see that during the process, right? I was not fully present with myself. I wasn't fully present with my own emotions, right? I can see that. And so understanding revealed my emotional maturity. And so at this point, I'm already understanding like what I feel, right? I understand that she's not responsible for how I feel. She is not responsible for making me feel better. I'm responsible for that. Okay? And so now I'm in the place to see clearly my own emotions, right? And attend to my own emotions and attend to how I feel and validate myself, validate my emotions in the many ways that this circumstance or this interaction with her has definitely caused me to damage myself or see things in ways that are hurting myself, right? Okay, and so my understanding expanded my perception. It helped me to understand her wounds, right? It helped me to understand her patterns too. It helped me to understand the system that may have shaped her. So this is where I really empathize with her on certain levels, right? I can see that her reactions and how she's reacting, she wants control, and she's gonna get the control from her perspective, right? Through the courtroom, right? So I can see that, and I can understand that this is about control for her, right? I can also understand the different patterns, right? I can understand the actual patterns of what has happened and what she's doing. And I could also understand like what is triggering her. How did she become this kind of person who does this unconsciously, right? So now I have more empathy for her, right? Right? I have more understanding of who she is on a more emotional level, of myself on a more emotional level. And some of the things that she's doing does hurt, right? Some of the things she's doing, it's not right, right? It's definitely bringing myself away from my children and relationship with my children, but also it's definitely separating us. But at the same time, this doesn't have to I don't have to. I don't need her to really make me feel better about everything. She doesn't have to fix everything because I'm fixing myself. I'm creating more boundaries within myself, right? And I can also pray for her healing, right? Pray that she starts to become self-aware, right? And I can create boundaries within myself and the process of me going through the courts with her, right? And so I'm more calm. I'm more calm. I'm more understanding of myself and what I need to feel better, to really stand up for my children during this process and be there for my children and do what I need to do for myself and the future of my children, regardless of what she's doing. So now that's level 5, right? I'm sorry, that's level 4. So after I got my understanding, I'm more in a better vibrational space in my body, right? So now I'm going to express more so love, more solutions, and then how do I get connection from all of this, right? Love. Now this part is about expressing love, solutions, connections, right? Pretty much this express this expresses how you move forward with more clarity. So now I got more understanding of this circumstance and my reaction, right? I understand more now, right? I have more clarity about myself. Someone said, "You're begging and being a crybaby. Good luck in court." This is not a safe place, bro. Y'all not being safe right now. But anyway, I digress. All right, so level 5, right? So this level brings everything together, right? It's not about me trying to perform and act like, I love her or love myself. This is really about grounding ourselves, right? It's more about it's more about grounding myself in the clarity, right? And so this level reveals your relational identity and purpose in love, right? So here's a prompt for you. If you're at this level, right, you done already expressed through this process. Level 1, anger, blame. Level 2, you express your sadness, disappointment. Level 3, you express your fear, insecurity, right? You have understanding about that. Now you express level 4. You have more understanding about yourself. More understanding, more understanding about yourself and the other person, right? And now you're going to express number 5, right? And here's the prompt. What does love look like from here, right? What is the aligned next step? So how do you move forward now? Practicing. Like, how do you love yourself more, right? How do you connect to yourself more? How do you connect to others now? Now you have this clarity about yourself now. How do you move now, right? Now this is how it was for me, right? Level 5. So for me, I express so what this level revealed about me. Love showed my grounded identity, right? And so what it did, it defined and so I define love through emotional presence, integrity, boundaries, right? So for me, it's more so about being present with my own emotions, right? Sticking to my own personal values, right? And my own personal integrity, which is the higher version of myself, right? And the boundaries. That's okay. That's okay, bro. Number 2, It showed me that, you know, I'm not reacting, right? I'm moving. I'm moving in presence, moving forward, right? And so love showed the restored version of me that does not act from survival, does not chase validation, does not move from trauma instinct. And I lead from presence, not pain. So, and so love is who you become after you felt every layer of truth. So let's say, so now you don't, so this process, right? This process of expressing your emotion, right? You don't express your anger, as we can see, right? You express your anger. You express your sadness. You express your disappointment. You express your fear, right? And you express your now you understand more, right? Okay? Now you express your understanding, and you kind of empathize with yourself. You empathize with her. Okay? So I'm taking you, hopefully, again, the premise of this video is about I'm giving you a certain process to express your emotions when you are triggered, right? And after you gain understanding of those expressions, then we are going to use this for dating and understanding yourself. Okay? So now, so now, so now, here's where the emotional expression process becomes dating clarity. All right? Now we're going to use what we learned when we expressed our emotions. We're going to use what we learned when we express our emotions, and we're going to use this for dating clarity. Okay? Now, so let's say you express your emotions, right? Now, what you did in those those five levels was a blueprint of your relationship values, boundaries, attachment style, emotional needs, and leadership style. And so now I'll teach you how each level translates directly into dating, attraction, compatibility, and long-term relationship alignment. All right. So, so now let's extract what each level tells you about the kind of partner you need, the kind of relationship you may thrive in, and the standards you should hold. And we're going to, of course, use me as the example of everything I have expressed, when I was expressing my emotions, okay? All right. So, level one, right? So, anger, right? This helps me to understand my boundaries and my relationship standards. And so, if you express your level, if you express your emotions, you would have expressed your boundaries, relationship standards, all right? Now, my anger revealed the exact places where I feel disrespected, misrepresented, ignored, powerless, right? Now, what does this mean for dating? This tells me that in relationships, I value what? Honesty. This is a fact. This is actually top one of my top values is actual truth, right? It also reveals I want to be accurately, in an accurate way, perceived. I want you to perceive me based upon what I'm trying to get you to understand, right? Also, being seen as who I actually am. And also a partner who communicates instead of assuming, okay? And someone who doesn't punish or project onto me, okay? Then you need to speak accurately. You're right, bro. You're right. Now, here's the dating application, all right? Before you date, now this is me, but when you do your process, right? This is how it could possibly look for you. Here's my question for myself, right? Does this person see me clearly, or are they projecting their fears onto me, right? And so for me, if a woman assumes, accuses, and she kind of like rewrite some kind of story, and she invalidates my character or doesn't check her own narratives against the actual reality, then she will recreate the same emotional violence I experienced before. So the kind of person that I want, right, in a nutshell, and this is how I'm going to apply everything I learned in my emotional expression to dating, right? Exactly what I just said. And so for me, overall, I need a partner who is emotionally grounded enough not to rewrite my identity. Okay? That's level one. Level two, sadness. And so this is, what I need, my emotional needs in relationship. So my sadness reveals my deepest needs for connection, emotional presence, being understood, being able to show love, right? Being recognized for my intention. I want you to see like my actual intention, right? And so what this means for dating, I need a relationship where emotional connection comes first, affection is mutual, vulnerability is welcome, and my soft side is valued and it's not mocked or dismissed. This is the facts, bro. Or sis, this is the facts, right? Now, how do I apply this to dating? So here's a dating application, right? So before committing, these are questions that I should be asking. Does this person appreciate my emotional depth or only the strong provider version of me? Okay? If they only respond to my strength, my resources, my intelligence, or my consistency, but they go numb or disconnect when I'm more vulnerable, they are not compatible to me or with my emotional world, right? And so my sadness tells me I need a woman who values emotional presence as much as physical presence. And so once you do your process, once you process your emotion, this is definitely going to help you and translate to the kind of relationship you want and the kind of partner you want to choose. All right. Level three, my fear and attachment patterns and partner selection. So my fear revealed my protective instincts, my core wounds, my fear of repeating what I grew up in, my longing for emotional security. What does this mean for dating? I need a partner who is emotionally secure, doesn't punish me for my transparency, can hold emotional conversations, doesn't weaponize my fears, is mature enough to grow with me. Right? Now, here's the application. Here's the dating application, right? So this is why I would ask myself, does this person make my nervous system tighten or release? Listen, when I'm around this person, how do I feel in my body? And so if being around them makes me perform, right? I gotta perform, or I shrink around this person, or I try to over explain myself, right? Do I feel like I lose my voice? Right? Do I feel unsafe of being honest? We are not compatible if those things continue to exist in the relationship, right? Even if there's chemistry, because chemistry is not compatibility. And that's where we go wrong a lot of times. We think because we feel good or with this person, or they are attractive, they're physically attractive, it's not the same thing as actual compatibility. If they don't have all these things, I don't care how good, I don't care how like good she looked, how good she meets my physical type, we are not compatible. And so my fears reveal I need a woman whose presence calm me and not activate my survival instincts. And again, with all these things, it's nuance. But yeah. So level 4, my accountability plus relational maturity, right? Now this level showed me, right, my emotional honesty, my ability to see both sides, my non-defensive accountability, my empathy with boundaries, right? Now, what does this mean for dating? I need someone with emotional maturity, humility, self-awareness, the ability to self-reflect, and the capacity to handle conflict without us going into some kind of like chaos situation, right? And so here's the application, right? Somebody said, I need a freak. I need that too, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. So here's the dating application. Here's what I should be asking myself. Does this person take accountability, or do they do they transform everything into blame? Right? So practically, if they deflect, if they deny, if they shame, or if they twist the narrative, right? Or if they blame me for their insecurity, they cannot meet me where I'm growing. Okay? Which could signal we are not compatible. Okay? And so I'm ready for a partner who can do the inner work and not just receive my emotional labor. And so in the past, I've often took the more emotional labor of the relationship, right? And so I will overextend myself, overextend, me trying to fix somebody, right? But in this relationship, the current person I am and who I've grown to become, no, 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 no. I want a partner who is already doing the inner work and not just trying to receive more emotional labor for me. She has to bring that too. Okay? Now, level 5. This is my relational identity and purpose. My capacity for grounded love, right, is in my commitment to truth and reality, my desire for healthy connection, my vision for partnership based on purpose, my ability to protect my peace, what this means for dating. Okay, now what does all that mean for dating? I need relationships where love flows from genuine truth and reality, not trauma. Both of us are trying to grow. Emotional leadership is respected, right? Our boundaries are understood, and our purpose and spiritual alignment matters. Okay? Here's the dating application. Here's what I ask myself. Does this relationship help me become more grounded, more loving, more myself? Now, if being with this person makes me more anxious, more confused, more reactive, more disconnected from God, more in survival mode, I'm not with someone aligned with this healed version of myself. Okay? We're not aligned. Now, some of this is really nuanced. It's not as black and white as this, but in the end, if we are not heading towards this, if we're not actively practicing this, if that the one that I want, she already gotta be speaking my language already, right? And so level 5 tells me love for me must be aligned, embodied, and spiritually grounded, not desperate. So here's a summary of what we just talked about, right? What this whole process tells me about dating, right? Now, again, I'm gonna do a recap. I'm gonna do a recap at the end. All right, but okay. So this emotional expression process told me exactly how to choose aligned relationships. Level 1, I need respect, truth, fairness, and someone who sees me clearly. Level 2, I need emotional presence, softness, and genuine connection. Level 3, I need safety, maturity, and a partner who doesn't activate my wounds. Level 4, I need accountability, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. Someone said smoke weed, bro. Level 5, I need love that expands me and not drains me. All right. Now, how to use this in real life while dating. Now, these are the core questions that I ask myself. But again, these are core questions when you go through this process, right? And you apply this to your dating, right? And how to understand yourself, how to understand the person you're trying to date and be in relationship with, right? These are the core questions I ask myself. Does she help me feel seen or misunderstood? Can I share my sadness without shame? Does her presence calm my nervous system? Is she accountable for her own emotions? Does this relationship bring me closer to my higher self? If not, she's incompatible with the real me, not the mask, not the protector, not the performer version of myself. Okay? She is not compatible with the version of myself, of the more higher version of myself. Okay? Now finally, your emotional expression session, right? So if you do this process, right? So again, I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna tell you it, and then we're gonna end on there. So every level tells you exactly what you need in partnership, what you can't tolerate, and what you become when you are the right person. I'm sorry, when you are with the right person. Okay, so in closing, emotionally mature men, right? If you want to really find the person that's for you, this practice helps you to express your emotions. It gives you more clarity about yourself, about your emotional needs, about the kind of about the ways, about your fears, your insecurities. This definitely helps you to express whatever it is that has triggered you. So once you go through this process, after you express yourself, which I have demonstrated in this live, and how to prompt yourself, right? Then what you're going to do is use this to understand yourself enough to really choose relationships that are naturally compatible to you. Okay? All right? And so, again, your emotional expression is your blueprint. Is your dating blueprint. Every level tells you exactly what you need in partnership, what you can't tolerate, and who you become when you are with the right person. Okay? And so that's it for today. Do we got any questions, bro? I think this is so, to me personally, if you do this process, number one, you'll begin to understand yourself more. And so whenever you trigger it, do that process. Also, again, I explained earlier, I got this process from somebody named Teal Swan. If you go to YouTube, type in Teal Swan and how to express your emotions, that video is there. I'm expressing this because this process helped me to express my emotions, right? I kind of mastered this process of expressing my emotions in these 5 levels, and it helped me to understand myself. And so I'm passing this along to you guys to understand yourself, and also use this process. And what you get from it is understanding yourself, understanding your anger, understanding your disappointments, your sadness, understanding your fears, insecurities. And then you begin to understand yourself. You have more empathy for yourself, empathy for the other person and people involved. And then you have more solutions and love, and you know how to connect moving forward. And now you got understanding. Now you can use this when you're dating. All that information from processing your emotions, you can use that to really date and find the person for you and create no, I'm sorry, be in relationship with more compatible people naturally. Natural compatibility based upon who you are. All right. So hopefully this was useful. I want all you guys, if this was useful, if this was helpful for you, give me a like. I also want you to subscribe for more content like this. I am a dating relationship health coach. I help men to understand their dating patterns, their childhood wounds and patterns, right? I help them to know themselves, know their values, understand themselves, and grow in self-awareness. And so if this was useful, this was helpful, in the description, I have the awareness plug method, which is my dating and relationship coaching program. If you want to go deeper, if you want one-on-one help, click the link in the description and you can apply and be coached by me. The link is in the description. And I want to say thank you guys for this day. Thank you for being with me. If you was here to the end, yo, shout out to you. For real. Shout out to you. Tomorrow, I'm doing another live. And hopefully you guys are there. And hopefully this was useful. This was valuable. Valuable. All right. So is there any more questions? Anything anybody want to say? It's a lot of trolling though in here, so it's all good. So y'all have a good Friday. Have a blessed day, y'all. Peace. Let's take a walk somewhere. Peace, y'all. This session is over. Hopefully you learned something. All right, subscribe. If you want more dating and relationship and self-awareness, understanding, today is a good day. Today is a good day. Peace, y'all.